Some startling new details emerge from the already shocking Gabby Petito murder case.
Thank you for joining us at 7 o'clock. I'm David Usry. Tonight, there are some new twists and turns in the case of a woman from Long Island who disappeared while on a road trip. Gabby Petito.
The search continues for 22-year-old Gabby Petito, who
has been on the missing case of 22-year-old Gabby Petito.
National focus on the story of Gabby Petito, whose remains were identified yesterday in Wyoming, has generated a parallel conversation about how much attention is given to white women who go missing versus the amount of attention and resources given to cases involving women of color.
My personal experience being on TikTok, I saw a lot of attention around the Gabby Petito case. And so that was my first, I guess, introduction to the missing white woman syndrome. Bias is, I think, the best way I would put it.
Well, it was a term coined by Gwen Ifill. I believe she was at NPR. After a spate of coverage on missing girls and women. So I think she used missing women syndrome, but you can certainly substitute the word girl for women, because both young girls and teenage girls and adult women, if they were white and especially if they were blonde, they got a lot of coverage, and people of color, not so much.
Thanks for being here. Great to see you.
Thanks for having
Look,
me.
the Gabby Petito story is interesting and raises all kinds of questions, and there are things that need to be investigated and discovered there. This isn't saying that story is not important, but...
Yeah, well, thank you for starting that way, because that's important to note. This isn't saying that Gabby Petito is not important. What it is saying is that there's an overrepresentation in media when white women go missing, and an underrepresentation in media when Black, brown, and indigenous women go missing.
I think this case was an example of what this looks like. We saw tons of traditional and social media attention, and it started to essentially feed off of each other. And there is some research that points to that when the major media starts to cover a case, it basically makes it so that other media start to as well. And I think that you saw it with the ballooning of coverage here. You really saw that play out in Gabby's case.
People started talking about her, and so it's on TikTok and it's on YouTube, and then there's a Netflix documentary, and all the news stations are reporting about her, and everybody's talking about her, so everyone cares about her. And you know, there is a severe underrepresentation and even underreporting of missing Indigenous women, and so much of what people part of the missing and murdered Indigenous women group advocate for is the fact that you have to report it for it to be talked about at all.
You know, we just did the news, and we did the stories that were surfacing to the top, and then we would cover them even more. And about the mid-90s, I had a supervising producer who was a woman of color, and she brought up a young Black boy who was missing. And nobody really picked up, I mean, it was like, oh, well, that's interesting. And nobody really said, oh, we should definitely cover that. And she goes, I want y'all to stop and think for a minute. If I had brought you a white girl who was missing, what would your reaction have been? And we were all sort of taken aback by it, like, ooh, we just been called out, and she's right.
A 16-year-old girl who disappeared from Hot Springs, Arkansas on December 4th, 1985. The day she vanished, Jeffrey was last seen walking home from school with her boyfriend, but she never made it back to her house. When her family reported her missing, police categorized her as a runaway and did very little to find the missing 18-year-old Cleishindra Hall, who disappeared from Pine Bluff, Arkansas on May 9th, 1994. Cleishindra was just 2 weeks away from graduating high school when she vanished. The last time anyone saw her, she was at her after-school job at the home office of a local doctor. 3 decades later, she is still missing.
18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier's disappearance for months. The North Carolina teen who vanished in Florida after sending his mom a chilling text that read, "Mom, help." And in the hours after he was picked up by relatives, reports emerged of frantic, erratic behavior, and later, video captured him running along the road that night, nearly getting hit by traffic.
Family to help them working on their house. He never came home. His wife starts asking questions. In Mexico, there's so many people who are missing that she really can't get any traction. He was a permanent resident here in the United States. She was born here. But the U.S. authorities are kind of like, it's in Mexico. What are we going to do? 2 years of searching, okay? His wife reached out to News Nation with a desperate plea to help.